said the line that became the whole reason that his company exists. I wanted to build cars that were not something to everyone, but everything to some. Read that again. That's not about building cars. That's a business philosophy. And it's the first thread I need you to follow all the way through this video. Porsche picked exactly who they were for, and they never, ever let that go. In 1985, Porsche ran a commercial where two valets steal a customer's 911 and take it for a joyride. The narrator, Patrick Stewart. The message wasn't buy this car. The message was even people who will never own one can't resist it. That's the thing about Porsche. Almost everyone wants one. A plumber in Edmonton wants one. A surgeon in Toronto wants one. A 19-year-old with a poster on his wall wants one. Porsche built a machine that makes people aspire across income brackets, across continents, and across generations. And here's the part that gets me. They did it while nearly going bankrupt twice. They did it while the purists screamed that they were betraying the brand. And right now in 2026, they're doing it while their profits have collapsed almost 98%. So today, I'm not doing a car video. We're answering one question. How does a company make the whole world want what it sells? And what does that have to do with you running a service business trying to get people to want you? Stick with me because the answer is simpler and harder than you think. If you're new here, this is the luxury brand series at Inspired Method where we are always inspiring excellence. We take the most desirable companies on earth, we tear down exactly what they did to get there, and we translate it into the moves that you can actually make, whether you run a roofing company, an HVAC outfit, a painting contractor, or a massage clinic. Last time it was Ferrari, today's Porsche. And Porsche is the more useful one for you. And here's why. Ferrari is a fantasy. Almost nobody that you know will ever own one. Porsche is different. Porsche is the dream you can actually picture yourself achieving. It's the I'm gonna get it someday car. It lives in that perfect zone. It's exclusive enough to mean something, attainable enough to chase. That zone, that's exactly where your service business needs to live. Not the cheapest, not unreachable. The premium choice people can aspire to hire and believe that they can. Let's start with who actually buys a Porsche because it tells you everything. The average 911 buyer is 52 years old. Median household income around $390,000. These are not lottery winners. They're executives, entrepreneurs, surgeons, attorneys, engineers, people who built something. And here's the psychographic, the part that matters more than the demographics. Porsche themselves put it best on their investor page. Their brand aspiration, their one line, for those people who follow their dreams. People don't buy a Porsche to show off. That's Lamborghini. That's the loud one. Porsche is, in their own words, the car for people who know, not the people who need to show. Owning a Porsche says, I succeeded on my own terms. It's a trophy from hard work, a reward you give yourself when you hit that milestone. Let that marinate for a second because that's the entire game. Porsche isn't selling horsepower. They almost never lead with horsepower. They sell you a version of yourself, the person who made it. And they made that feeling reachable. Close enough that you'll spend years working towards it. Now watch how deliberately they engineered that reachability. Porsche doesn't sell one car, they sell a ladder. The Macan, the compact SUV, is the way in. Younger buyers, urban buyers, first-time Porsche people. Then the 718, the Cayenne, the Panamera, and at the top, the soul of the brand, the 911. Every rung is a real Porsche. The latter means you can start your relationship with the brand at one price and dream your way up to another. They even launched a subscription service in Canada that started in Toronto back in 2019. You pay monthly, they deliver the car to your door, and you can swap out models. No purchase required. They found a way to let people taste the dream before they can buy it. Now, your business. You're probably selling one thing at one price, one roof, one service plan, one package, and you're wondering why people either say yes or they vanish. Build the ladder. A roofer doesn't just sell a new roof. Tier 1, the inspection and tune-up. The Macan. It's the way in. Tier 2, the full replacement with premium warranty. Tier 3, the whole exterior package, roof, skylights, gutters, the works. That's the 911. The same logic can go for an HVAC company, electrical company, same logic for a massage therapy clinic. The single session, then the monthly membership, then the executive recovery program. Have some tiers for you people to aspire to. You give people a place to start and somewhere to aspire to, and that's accessible aspiration. That's Porsche. And one more thing that Porsche does that I need you to hear and understand. The official corporate strategy, this is the one on their investor page, always sell one car less than the market demands. That's on purpose. They could sell more. In 2024, they delivered over 310,000 cars and chose to leave demand on the table because being a little bit hard to get is what keeps you wanted. For you, you don't have to be available to everyone all the time at any price. A wait list isn't a failure. A capped client roster isn't a weakness. The "I can take 2 more projects this month" is a premium signal. Porsche has known that since 1948, when they made fewer than 50 cars a week for the entire world, and they told you about it in an ad. So that's the dream, and the ladder up to it. Beautiful, aspirational, reachable. But here's why I really made this video. Because aspiration like that doesn't just happen, it gets earned. And the way Porsche earned it is the most valuable lesson that I can give you today. Let me take you to a barn in Austria in 1948. The very first Porsche, the 356, it was hand-built in a barn. It weighed 585 kilos, 40 horsepower. The engine was borrowed from a Volkswagen, a car that Ferdinand Porsche had also designed. The Beetle, the cheapest car in the world. So check this out. The man who designed the people's car founded the company behind the most aspirational sports car brand on earth. Same bloodline, wildly different dream. And the man who actually built that first car, Ferdinand's son, Ferry, said the line that became the whole reason that his company exists. I wanted to build cars that were not something to everyone, but everything to some. Read that again. Not something to everyone, everything to some. That's not about building cars. That's a business philosophy. And it's the first thread I need you to follow all the way through this video. Porsche picked exactly who they were for, and they never, ever let that go. In 1963, Porsche unveils the 911. Rear engine, flat 6, and a silhouette that you could probably draw from memory right now. Now here's the incredible part. That was 63 years ago, and the 911 has been in continuous production ever since. Over 1 million built. Engineers told them the rear engine layout was wrong on paper, hard to balance. Trends came and went, and Porsche just refined it. The same shape, same ideas, over and over, a little better every single year for 6 decades. Think about that. 6 decades. This wasn't an overnight sensation. It took relentless pursuit of excellence for 6 decades. That's not stubbornness. That's the whole strategy. Porsche calls it evolution, not reinvention. They never blew up to who they were to chase a fad. They committed to one idea and spent 60 years making it undeniable. I want to deliver you the straight goods. This is where things get real. That commitment nearly killed them. In the early 1990s, Porsche was on the brink of bankruptcy. The Japanese recession hits. The German mark rises, which wrecks their pricing in America, their biggest market. Their lineup is old, and sales, they crater. From over 50,000 cars a year to about 14,000 in 1993. 14,000. That's a company months from the lights going up. A lot of analysts said the same thing. Porsche can't survive on its own. So what did they do? Listen to this. Listen very carefully. They didn't panic discount. They didn't slap a badge on a cheap car to chase volume. They got disciplined. A new boss, Wendelin Wiedeking, brought in former Toyota engineers and rebuilt how they actually made the cars. Cut the build time, cut the defects. Then in 1996, they launched the Boxster, a more attainable sports car that shared its front half and engine with the next 911. So it costs less to build. Stay true to the sports car. just open a wider door. And then came a gamble that should be taught in every business school. The Cayenne, an SUV. When Porsche announced an SUV in the late 90s, the purists lost their mind. A practical, heavy family SUV from the lightweight sports car company? Treason. But leadership understood something the critics didn't. Survival requires evolution. The Cayenne launched in 2002 and became an instant hit and opened a huge, profitable new market. And the profits from the Cayenne funded the 911. The car everyone loved was paid for by the car everyone doubted. So hear that as a business owner. Sometimes that offering that feels like dilution of your brand is the one that funds everything you actually want to do. The roofer who adds gutter cleaning, the massage therapist who adds corporate wellness contracts, done with quality that Cayenne of yours keeps the lights on so your 911 can be great. And the whole time throughout near death, through reinvention, one thing never wavered: proof. Porsche has won an estimated 24,000 races. They hold the all-time record at the 24-hour of Le Mans, the hardest endurance race on earth, with 19 overall wins. First entry in 1951, 7 years in a row in the 80s. They don't say our cars are fast, they prove it, and then reference those proofs in ads for decades. Heritage isn't a museum to them, it's a weapon they keep firing. Now, the reason I really wanted to make this video this year, so right now, 2026, Porsche is in the fight of its life again. Their 2025 operating profit collapsed from about $6 billion to roughly $100 million. That's a drop of nearly 98%. Sales in China fell 26% as local EV brands undercut them. US tariffs added around $800 million in costs. Revenue dropped from about $46 billion to $42. This is a brutal year. A lesser company panics. Fire sale, discounts, cheapen the products to move more units. Porsche did the opposite. Their new CEO's plan, announced in 2026, is this: leaner, faster, and even more desirable. More desirable. In their worst financial year in a generation, their answer is to cut what's diluting them and double down on exactly who they are. They are, right now, in real time, refusing to quit on their identity. So here's the thread pulled all the way through this video. The barn in 1948. The 911 silhouette held for 60 years. Near bankruptcy in 1993, didn't quit. The Cayenne gamble, didn't quit on quality. A crisis in 2026, still not quitting on identity. The aspiration you feel when you see a Porsche, it isn't an accident of marketing. It's the compound interest of a company that picked who it was and then showed up on that, consistent for nearly 80 years through everything. Which brings us to you. Because you don't have 80 years and a Le Mans budget, how do you build that kind of pull? That's the part I promised you in this video, so we're going to get right to it. Here's an uncomfortable truth about your business. You are almost certainly better than your reputation. You do great work, your clients love you, and yet most of your market has no idea you exist. That's the gap. Not quality, visibility. Porsche's quality was real in 1993 too. It almost didn't matter because not enough people were feeling it. So how did Porsche turn quality into desire? They were seen constantly, recognizably. The same identity over and over, everywhere people looked. Racing, print ads, the valet commercial. Instagram, the Driven by Dreams films. In 2021, they ran ads with no cars in them at all. Just stories of people chasing dreams. Because by then, the brand was so consistent, it didn't need to show the product. People already knew the feeling. That repetition is the engine showing up recognizably again and again and again until you go from who to, oh, them. Now here's the foundational belief everything we do is built on. Got a pen? Write it down. Video content is the single most powerful tool a small business has to go from being the best kept secret in town to being the obvious choice. from obscurity to a known entity. Porsche spent 80 years and billions becoming inevitable. You can't buy that, but you don't have to, because the thing Porsche was actually doing, showing up consistently as a clear identity until the market couldn't ignore them, you can do that now with a camera. This is the great equalizer. A roofer gets on camera once a week explaining why most warranties are worthless, showing what a proper install actually looks like, telling the story of a job they're proud of. That roofer is running their own Le Mans. Every video is a lap. Every honest, useful, recognizably you piece of content is one more proof point compounding. You won't go viral on video one. Porsche didn't win Le Mans in 1951 either. They showed up and lost for 19 years before their first overall win. But they kept showing up, and one camera pointed at someone who actually knows their craft, used consistently for 2 years. That's a moat your competitors can't shortcut. They can copy your price. They can copy your service. They cannot copy 2 years of you being the trusted face of your trade in your city. And notice, this is the same lesson as the 9/11. Evolution, not reinvention. Don't reinvent your message every week chasing trends. Pick who you are, pick what you stand for, and say it a little bit better every single week for a long time. That's it. That's the secret. It's gloriously unsexy. It is consistency, plus time, plus refusing to quit, pointed through a camera lens. All right, let's wind this up. Porsche is not really a car company. It's an 80-year masterclass in staying yourself until the world agrees you're worth wanting. From a 40 horsepower car in a barn to a $42 billion a year brand, desirable because it stayed itself, even when the market begged it to become something cheaper, louder, easier. And remember what Ferry told us back in that barn. He never wanted to build something for everyone. He wanted to build everything for some. That's your permission slip. Stop trying to be the cheap, safe option for every customer in your city. Decide who you're going to be everything to and become the one that those people can't imagine hiring anyone else for. And the deepest lesson I want you to learn from this video is premium is not about the price. Premium is about certainty. Certainty of quality. Certainty of identity. Certainty that in your town, in your trade, there is no substitute. You already do the work. Now you have to be seen doing it. So this week, not someday, this week, point a camera at yourself and teach one thing that you know, then do it again next week. That's lap one. That's how the obscure becomes inevitable. If this reframed how you think about your own brand, subscribe. The whole luxury brand series is us stealing the playbooks of the greatest companies on earth and handing them to people like you. Next time, we'll tear down another one, and I'm rooting for you. Go get seen building something great. See you on the next one.